What is up, everyone? Dan the Cardman back again. Welcome to another weekly news video. Today I'm going to talk through a couple of things in particular you can see down in the chapters below. I'm going to clarify a few things with regards to my recent videos. I'm going to talk through a Topps redemption issue amongst a few other things within the hobby. So stay tuned for the whole video, but we're going to start with this Topps issue in particular. Now, as you can see here, as explained by Card Pawn, Wisconsin to Hollywood pulled this Ohtani Auto Redemption back in 2018. I thought he pulled it back in 2019 based on what I've read, but it turns out it's 2018. As you can see here, this is the redemption in question. You can see here it has an expiry date of 2020, July 2020. This person sent it in before that deadline date, and essentially this is what he got back from Topps. So if you haven't seen this yet, basically they sent him back 3 packs, right, that are not overly expensive in any way, shape, or form, and this card of this player, Paul Goldschmidt, that really isn't worth anything altogether. Yes, it's a patch order, but it's not worth $4 US based on what these guys are saying, which is a very disappointing thing. And it goes to these things that these companies are once again doing with regards to redemptions, right? We've just had Panini absolutely change their policy on redemptions. It's a bit of a joke. It's completely unacceptable in my opinion. Yes, I know I say unacceptable a lot on my channel, but I'm all about calling out this really crappy behavior from all lines within the hobby, right? This is not good enough. The Ohtani at the time of submitting the redemption was worth $70,000 USD. That's a lot of money. This is not the equivalent of getting an Ohtani. I'm not a huge baseball fan. I don't know a whole lot about baseball. Yes, I'm wearing a baseball cap, but this sort of stuff, in my opinion, is unacceptable, right? How is that an equivalent? Even I know who Ohtani is, even though I'm not a huge fan of baseball, right? How is some random player that not even baseball people know about really, and a couple of cheap packs, how is that the equivalent of an Ohtani rookie card, low numbered redemption, right? It's out of 5. This is completely unacceptable. And there's probably 2 scenarios here. Either, Topps never fulfilled those redemptions in the first place. I've not researched as to whether any of these other out of 5 Ohtanis have showed up. If they haven't showed up, maybe they didn't fulfill the redemption. If they have shown up, maybe somebody's stolen this particular one from Topps. One of the employees have stolen it. And based on what we've seen with regards to other manufacturers, other companies in the past, is that overly surprising, or is that out of the realm of possibilities? Probably not. There's probably a good chance that could have occurred, to be honest. But this is just utterly ridiculous. It's not good enough in any way, shape, or form. It's the equivalent of hitting like a Giannis or a Luka low card and getting some random player, right? Like it's just not. It's not good enough, and they need to be doing better. What's interesting with this is that they've Cardpoint have given an update regarding this, and they're basically saying Topps is now looking into it, which is really, really good to see that Cardpoint has called this out and pressured Topps to do a proper response on this and actually do better than what they actually did. But they've called out a few haters here as well that have called them out for raising this not on behalf of the individual, not getting his permission, so on and so forth. I think it's a really, really good thing that Cardpoint have called this out. I think they do pick and choose their battles now with how they do call things out. I was on a live stream with AIH Sports today, and that was one of the things we did call out. They've become so big now, they've got so many followers that we don't know if it's all about them not having the same mindset anymore. Yes, maybe they've got some partnerships with some people, maybe sponsorships are holding them back, so on and so forth. Or maybe it's just the fact that they've got so much information on their plate, it's hard for them to address everything. That's just worth keeping front of mind. All in all, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if Cardpoint has new owners, if they've sold the account, but that's just speculation at this point, just because, I've not seen them approach situations like this in the past, but I don't want to get into too much detail. I know you can't see my mouse is over there. But keep with that what you will, or I'll take with that what you will. I just think this is a completely unacceptable situation from Topps. These companies need to be doing better, and the fact that it takes an individual on Instagram like Cardpoint for them to action this from an appropriate customer service perspective is really, really poor in my opinion. It's not good enough in any way, shape, or form. The next thing I want to talk through is an update regarding the video that I put out 2 days ago. Now, this is in regards to this video here, where I basically highlighted, the negative elements as to why people that are using card cleaning services are hiding the serial numbers and why it's not okay. I just want to make sure that, people aren't taking the position that I'm a hater of Kurt's Card Care or anything like that. I'm not putting down the guy or anything like that. I think whilst he does things that I'm not a huge fan of, I'm not a huge fan of card cleaning, I'm not a huge fan of corner repairs, edge rolling, all that sort of stuff, and he does use them. As I've said in the past, Kurt is very transparent with what he does. He explains things as he goes. He's not trying to hide anything from you as a viewer. And I've said from the get-go as well, I'm happy for you to use this service, just be open and honest with regards to how you go about doing it. Kurt does that, right? My main gripe with this video was people that are being very disingenuous with his approach, and they're intentionally hiding serial numbers to deceive you. A few people have commented back to me, and I might be doing actually a live stream with Retro Hoops, so keep an eye out for that, where he basically highlighted, okay, well, maybe it's just the graders' fault, right? Maybe the graders need to be taking the big brunt of your frustrations because they're the ones that can't spot this, and they're the ones slabbing it. So if something does go wrong down the line, if the card gets damaged long term or something along those lines, they're liable. And yes, that is true. I do have a lot of frustration towards the graders, like I've explained in the past. But my point of this video was primarily targeted towards people that are being disingenuous, being deceptive with how they go about, letting you know what they've done and what they've not done to the card. I think you, as a buyer, have the right to know whether wax or chemicals have been put on that card, right? You have a right to know, irrespective of whether it's still gemmed to 10. In my personal opinion, you might disagree, and that's okay. We're happy to have an open and honest discussion. So please let me know your thoughts again down in the comments below. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not having a go at Kurt's card care. He's very open, he's very transparent with literally everything he does. I think it just speaks to, a lot of people within the hobby these days being okay with this sort of thing. I would much rather see someone like Kurt's card care tell me what they're doing with every single card, be open, transparent, not be deceivious, not be disingenuous in any way, shape, or form, than have the people that are primarily and purposely hiding things from you as a prospective buyer to try and take advantage of you. They're two distinct things, in my opinion, so please, let's not get them twisted. Now, the next thing I do want to flag as well is another video that I did earlier on in the week that Firehand cards. Sorry, I wanted to say Firehand Collectibles, so I do apologize. Just did a video on after my video, and he basically did this in response to my video and Collectible Guru on Twitter. So basically Eric Whiteback, who also has an Instagram account as well. So if you go back to this video, what I explained was how essentially this WWE card, this individual, Mike Bev Celtics, basically hit this card in his box, and it was meant to be like a placeholder in place of a 1-of-1 that he did not get. And I spoke to how this probably allowed people at the manufacturer to understand where certain hits might be, which then might allow them to funnel information to people, or maybe identify boxes that they can then steal or flag for someone to then purchase down the line, i.e. funnel hot boxes to respective breakers. Now, Firehand Cards basically went back and did a very, very good video, so please check it out. That's why I want to talk about this now. He goes through the whole manufacturing process and what these loops mean, and basically why it might be a bit difficult for somebody to actually manipulate this process. The one thing I do want to highlight with regards to this, though, as I did flag on AIH's live stream that I had with him today, was that, okay, yes, this does make a lot more sense from a manufacturing process, and it does indicate that some things might be a bit difficult to do. But you also need to understand that if the manufacturer is setting up a plan for this run of Impeccable, right, they're saying, okay, for Impeccable, we want to have 9 loops. The first 5 loops are primarily just your base cards. Your next 2 loops are like your short print, and then your last loop is your 1-of-1s, okay? There is still math behind when those 1-of-1s, when those short prints should get dropped in the first 5 loops. The first 5 loops being the base cards, right? So let's say that a 1-of-1 or a short print gets put in every 10 packs, as an example. It's obviously much higher than that, but let's use that as the example. You can then deduce that, okay, if there's 4 packs per box, and there's 3 cases per box, that's 12 packs per case, as an example. You can then estimate roughly which boxes are going to contain those hits, right? And it's not going to be foolproof. You won't know exactly which players you're trying to chase, but you can understand with that knowledge, you can do the math to then figure out which boxes, if the boxes are serialed, I should say, as some high-end boxes are. This won't apply to low-entry product, as Firehand Cards did explain, but there is opportunity there for somebody to then go back with the math and work out where the hits would be, where the 1-of-1s would have fallen based on the math of when the loops are going to drop the cards, right? You get what I'm trying to say. Apologies if you did lose me. Go check out Firehand Cards video, then come back to me and you will understand essentially what I'm trying to say. Like, it's essentially like, it's like counting cards to an extent, right? If you're somebody that's counting cards, you know what's already come out. You can then figure out what's still remaining within the deck and then work out the probability, except this is obviously going to be a little bit more accurate. So the logic here would be, okay, yes, it is hard for an individual to maybe identify exactly where a card is. But if you understand how the loops work, if you understand the math behind where the packs are going, how many packs go into each box, so on and so forth, you can then estimate roughly which cases contain which hits. Or not which hits exactly, but a hit in general. And I think that is still fairly tangible in my opinion, because like I explained in my video the other day, I've had a few people reach out to me and say there's high-end breakers, very big-time breakers, that are saying yes or no to boxes of cards based on the serial number, high-end boxes of cards. So when I hear that information, and then knowing what we know about this whole Hotbox situation with backyard breaks, this apparent Hotbox situation, then understanding how these loops work and the fact it's placeholder cards in there, all those things in aggregate speak to a little bit of hanky-panky, to be honest. And if it is true, I'm waiting on a few people to confirm a few things with me. I need to reach out to a few more to do a bit more research. But if that stuff regarding them waiting for serial numbers to determine yes or no on purchasing a case is true, that again then goes to something like I've just explained, where you might have somebody at the manufacturer saying to XYZ breaker, you know what? All the cases with these serial numbers, we think they're the ones that are going to have the hits based on the loops and things like that. That's not so far-fetched. Yes, it is still tinfoil hat stuff to an extent, but it's not as improbable or implausible as people think, right? We've had a lot of fraud within the hobby that are far higher odds of actually occurring than what we're talking about right here. That stuff is not too hard to defraud, in my opinion, based on my experiences in external audit and seeing what I know from all the financial processes I've looked at and all the business processes I've looked at. When there's opportunity for fraud, people will try and do it, right? And I don't think the controls and the control environments and the business processes at these organizations are strong enough to make sure that people can't take advantage of them. That's my opinion from the outside looking in. I would love to chat with somebody that knows this in a bit more detail. And apologies for just going on this huge rant right now, but I just wanted to clarify that a bit further because I think that is something that is still possible. But Firehand Cards did a really, really good video, so please check it out and then come back and watch what I've just spoken about again if you're still unsure as to what I meant. It's a great channel. He does obviously he's a card breaker, so he knows his stuff. Some of you might think he's having a go at me in this video. He's certainly not. He's just basically trying to explain things and highlight a few things to make sure that people aren't out there and misinforming people or anything like that. He's done a really, really good job with his video, so please check it out. The last thing I want to touch on is actually the live stream that I already mentioned that I did with AIH Sports today. So please check it out. It's actually quite interesting. It's really it was really fun time for me. It's one of the first live streams that I've done. Obviously, I jumped onto the sports card radio one, but this was the first one that I did one-on-one with somebody, so it was really good. Check it out. We chatted through a bunch of different things. We talked through hanky panky. We talked through business processes and things like that, BBC, all this sort of stuff. So if you're interested, please check it out and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk through today. I think that was it. So I hope you did enjoy the video. Like I always say, if you didn't enjoy anything, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to hate on you or anything like that. Just drop me a comment down below what you think I said was incorrect or what you disagree with, and we can chat, because that's what my channel is all about, having this open and honest discussion with you all as viewers. I'm not here to hate on you. I'm not here to push you away or anything like that. Here to have this chat and then try and make the hobby a bit more enjoyable, a bit more fun, and have this discussion around things we all do love, right? We're all lovers of cards. You can't deny that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.